Do you want to know what the fallen are, little one? In a sense, they are angels, but not the angels your mom imagines she prays to. Brass trumpets picnicking in the clouds. In their true essence, they are great swirling engines of wing and blood, fiery eyes that peer around the corners between worlds. Dark, radiant things conjured from fresh battlefields. A Frankenstein's Valkyrie, forever crashing to Midgard. What grief demands their hate? What vast cannibal hunger?
Welcome to the Fallen Cycle Mythos Fiction Podcast. This universe is full of secrets, waiting for those brave or foolhardy enough to seek them out. Cycle 2, Party at the World's End. Take a mad ride past the event horizon of sanity, as Lilith and her band of miscreants transcend from escaped convicts to superstars of a different kind. They grapple with the intoxication of growing influence. This is the story of those fallen who walk amongst us in a universe where 2012 went a bit differently, and hints of the world that is to come. Discover more about the Fallen Cycle mythos, including comics, novels, setting lore, and an RPG currently in development at fallencycle.com. And for our discussion and actual play exploration of RPG system and setting, visit modernmythology.net. This podcast contains adult themes and may induce psychosis. And now on with the show.
Season 5, Chapter 7, Monarch, 2011. My original fall is the birth of the other. Jean-Paul Sartre.
Memories flash back to me, layers of skin carefully peeled off, revealing pink machinery beneath. Was this work-related stress? The missions, the drugs, a genuine pre-existing mental condition unmasked by these factors? You're on substance D, man. You are spun the fuck out, Bradley said. What were we talking about? 2 journalists suicided by Scientologists? Nothing is remembered. All is lost. The Blue Brotherhood doesn't exist. These journalists weren't onto anything. The Monarch mind control lead is a dead end. And of course, the Scientologists wanted to fuck over these dead journalists. The Scientologists want to destroy anyone who isn't a part of their fruity little club. You need to sleep. How many days has it been now? He looked at his watch. The hands twitched their way around the face, little shivering cockroach legs. Agent 888 pushed aside empty bottles of Cuervo and various piles of debris, coughed asthmatically, and fished for another mentholated cigarette from his shirt pocket. Shit, that was me. I was seeing inside the hole in my memory made by the benzos. Or was I just telling myself it was the drugs? Maybe something else was at work here. Oh yeah, I thought Substance D was a fictional name for speed, from a Philip K. Dick book. No, it is who you are in general, man, specifically you. Any drug, any mind-altering substance, your life, living out investigations into things which don't exist, and searching for answers, suspecting friend in enemy and enemy in friend. Your brain has detached and split into 2 different polarities, the left and right hemispheres, fighting for dominion over each other. What you need is balance. There is a schism in your brain and you are fragmented. That is Substance D. It's not a drug, it is a state of mind. Did I happen to mention that I'm your handler and that you are actually working for the CIA? Do you know I used to work for Eurofarm? Did you know some of their meds were started as part of MK Ultra? That's right, buddy. You still think Mother Hive Brain is bullshit? You have potential if you stick with it. You have made it past at least 3 disinfo shells already. You're hacking your way to the core of the syndicate, and we are aware of who you are. Just kidding, man. I think you're a fucking nut job, and I like to watch you grind your gears. Or am I? The buyer asked. I woke up in a cold sweat, heart beating rapidly, sweaty palms, ache in jaw, swallow down, better soon. Who am I now? Endless corridors, twisted sheets, uneasy alliances, labyrinths, rat race, drinking scotch, playing ball with the men at the top. I feel it. That means it is there. It reproduced itself in the mind of the young and fed from our nocturnal emissions and tears. Most would discredit it. In fact, it did not exist materially. It existed as a living myth. There is no there, floating in the myth space. Something about a vortex, like Schrodinger's cat, but more like it. Somehow, I curled up inside these uncertainties and slept there a while. I was sitting with Stella at the diner we frequented. The food was terrible, but there was something comforting in how constantly underachieving the place was. She absent-mindedly pushed her deep-fried cod through a trough of mayonnaise and relish. There was a drawn-out and uncomfortable silence, something which seemed to be happening a lot lately. Silences like that have always been the death of me. I'll say anything to make it stop. Usually it is harmless, some random detritus floating at the top of my mind like a cluster of oil-soaked pelicans. But sometimes it isn't. I think I'm losing my mind, I said. She stopped chewing for a moment, but then nodded as if she had already known that. Yeah? Yeah. We kept chewing in silence. I guess this wasn't one of those times, but her lack of response was telling. It was already starting to show, because it was true. I never before thought a mind was something you could lose, but now I'm just not so sure. Her eyes were like two porcelain saucers, beautiful but empty. I looked down at my food and suddenly didn't feel very hungry. That evening, I watched some old movies of Stella and myself. When I watched those videos, I realized that at first, she'd been very good to me. I truly did love her, wanted to anyway, but I couldn't help but take her for granted. It was a game of deflection played out in my own mind against an invisible judge and jury. We sometimes become infatuated when we view the other as a means to our ends, an escape from ourselves. When the period of infatuation wears off, the feeling of being so close to someone, you would do anything for them, many run. Maybe my way of doing that was to put everything about her that I didn't care for under a microscope. Her taste in music, the way she talked, the things she said, her friends, her ideas, everything that I didn't like. They were all things I didn't even have a right to judge, but that doesn't keep us from doing it. Psychological projection is the name of the game. Are you beginning to see a pattern here? When we see our mirror image in sharp and uncomfortable detail in an outsider, the other, we begin to see our own faults as if for the first time. You know this about me now. She was the closest thing, and yet I had made our relationship entirely about me. I had alienated her from the conversation. Everything which followed was just the inevitable result of inertia. Fuck. I have to analyze everything, don't I? Later, the two of us lay intertwined in bed. I was absently tracing the outline of her hips with my finger when I noticed a small tattoo I somehow hadn't seen before, slightly above the small of her back. A tiny black and orange butterfly. New tattoo? I asked. No, I got it a while ago when I turned 18. Oh, I'd never noticed it. How was that possible? A monarch. I closed my eyes and felt a calm reverie overtake me, but as I nestled on that ledge above the welcome expanse of sleep, something cold and sharp impressed itself on my consciousness. It was like a wedge of sharp static driven inexorably into my mind. my eye cracked open and I saw a figure leaning over the bed. It was without any particular features. I can't say that it had a certain kind of face, or eyes, or nose, or hands, though it had all of those things. It had skin, but I couldn't say what color, or if it was rough or smooth. It was just that, a form, a figure, the very shape of a man without any details filled in, as if an artist had started to sketch and then passed out in a drunken stupor instead. I tried to sit up, but found that my limbs wouldn't respond. Only my eyes seemed to work, and they widened in fear as this form leaned in closer to me, peering right through me with its face. That wasn't a face, as it put its hands that weren't hands on my arm and stepped inside of my body. I fell then and there into that expanse, but it was no longer welcome. It was an endless free fall, locked in an invisible embrace with this leaden other, and my life has never been the same since. As I said, everything was already starting to change for me. These things begin, little by little. It seems that all at once there is an audible snap and your life is wholly different. But when we look back, we can see that it was actually a long time coming. It seemed to begin with my dreams that night. I was on a giant battleship, which was, I think, steaming toward the US Capitol. I'm not sure how, but in some way I understood that our mission was a last-ditch effort to save the American dream. Crew were carrying missiles, back and forth through the hull. Screams, smoke, flashing lights. One of the crew awkwardly dropped one, and an auto door slammed shut on it with a clink. Everything seemed to stop. The rocking of the boat, the yelling and carrying on of the crew, even the sloshing of the waves below deck. All our eyes went toward thousands of pounds of munitions rolling around on the floor as the doors opened and slammed shut again. And then the gut-wrenching moment. There was a sucking oomph, and metal and bodies became high-velocity shrapnel themselves, shearing people like they were little more than paper cutout dolls. I was lying on the ground and I wondered when this was. Was this World War III? Was this the Queen Mary? Was I alive? What the hell was going on? I thought I was waking up for the first time at that moment, but of course, I was neither awake nor aware. But it seemed that I was. And if things can seem so true and yet be complete lies, then what can we trust, really? I got up. There was smoke, screaming, chaos, you know, the kinds of noises you would expect. But I was distracted, walking past them in a daze. I was scared of something, but couldn't put my finger on it. Not the bomb, not the war. Something more ephemeral, a lingering something, hiding just outside the bubble of my conscious thoughts. I headed down a deck, and now, I'm walking past this cafe. A cafe on a warship? I guess even soldiers of the new revolution need lattes. I get that knee-jerk hunger for caffeine. And as I'm scanning the scene, I see Stella, sipping a drink, reading a book, and holding it in the way only she can, gently, as if she's cradling a baby in her arms. I need to bathe in that kind of calm. I go in to say hi. I remember brushing her hair from her brow and kissing her, murmuring gently about my dream from the night before, and my brain catches and whirs. An uncomfortable shiver spreads across my skin like ripples on a dark pool, and she's the one thing I can hold on to avoid slipping into its unknown depths. The mystery, the great mystery, is there, just under the surface. She murmurs something and then gives me a hug with her mind, never taking her eyes off the book. A conversation ensues, but I don't remember a word of it. I do remember the sensation of being home, for once and only ever the still point, Axis Mundi Foucault's pendulum home, and then I was rubbing her back in the way a cat needs a blanket. Somehow my hands were passing through her and onto myself. As the conversation continued, she faded away. I passed through her shrinking ghost. I was alone. The ship lands. No longer a warship, she's now a luxury liner. Attractive, naked young men and women are playing tag and water polo, or fucking, right there in the open, heedless of my presence. I'm walking around a patio towards a pool in some sort of upscale compound. Around the bend, there's another pool and a bunch of people waiting for me. The buyer 139 and 506 are the first three I recognize. They are sitting with someone else, a frenetic man with wild hair and eyes. I sit down and turn towards them. Bradley is dressed in army fatigues and smoking a fat, terrible-smelling cigar. The other agents are wearing Speedos, I'm sorry to say. "You taking your pills, son?" Bradley asks me. "Which pills?" "Fuck, Bradley. You can't even make sense in my dreams." If it is true that alienation has been the principle of all history, it is our task not just to pull the emergency brake, but to bring this history to an end, to clear a way for a new beginning, a new story, illuminated by the dawning of the new, the stranger says, to no one in particular. At this point, Bradley does the most unusual thing. He inspects my hands very closely and gives me a look. I see the kind of calm, serious, but genuine contemplation that I would never normally attribute to him. Sober, he says, "See? You're wrong. You've been one of us all along. There are tiny creases all over your hand." I realize we are all lounging on the deck of the Titanic. Then I wake up. His words move around like a scrub brush, vigorously applied to the inside of my skull, but leave no meaning or realization in their wake. Tiny creases? The phone rings almost right away. If it's Bradley, that is really going to fuck with me. I pick up the receiver and hear gibberish on the other end. I assume it's a wrong number. Do I say hello? Do I hang up? That wouldn't be my style. No, I gotta get with the natives, get indigenous. So I parrot back new nonsense words with a similar inflection. Woot ginana? Sid wu ginepa. Sumen halba. We go back and forth in a conversation like this for about 3 minutes, until finally the voice begins to raise. And then, in clear English, the voice says to me, "The lips of wisdom are closed, except to the ears of understanding." Click, the receiver goes dead. Get out your grapefruit spoons, it's time to dig. Behind the eye sockets, under the cranium, crack and shuck that husk. The narrative is in there, living inside our bodies. I drift back to sleep. I am at a feast of some sort, served all these different silver platters by attractive Swedish girls, and the food on the plates are ancient nation states, feeling both full and wise after engorging myself on such multicultural fare. Athens was particularly tasty. I take a walk. I am back in Southern California now, an endless expanse of overgrown highways and outdoor malls and shopping centers. Unless you're going back in the mountains, most of the places to walk are parking lots. I've taken many leisurely strolls in them. It's relaxed because you're absolutely assured of getting absolutely nowhere. I see a girl standing in the lot. Everything fixates on her, a redhead pulled off the cover of some fashion magazine, a rock star photoshopped in real life. My perspective moves up and out, blowing up like a balloon, until I am maybe 100 feet above her. The parking lot is a playing board, like chess, checkers, or Othello, and she is the Red Queen. Whoosh! I return back to normal scale, a being of pure perception. By this point, I am flirting with her, which is incomprehensible if you think about it, since I am a point of view with neither mouth nor eyes, but it seems to be going pretty well, because I transform into a bedroom, lined with lace and strange, dangling mobiles and tinkling bells. She takes her clothes off, inside my walls. As she undresses inside me, another lily-white clone pops into existence, wearing some kind of nightgown, her hair like a splash of crimson suspended in raw milk. This is quickly becoming a Skinamax After Dark type of production, but condensed and made more tangible as it squeezes through the churning vortex of a DMT kaleidoscope. This damsel in a dress narrates up to walls of pressed wood and plaster that is my body, to the yellow leather chair that is my face. Thanks to the order of the hidden carriage house, I speak in a secret code that will bend all to my will, which is so secret that even I, who am but a shadow of my being within this timeless company of great carriage houses, know it not, and lo, if you find yourself performing the most holy communion with an ice cream cone, you will know that you are one of the few true members of this hidden interior order. She is a simulacra, an ideal sheathed in flesh. I want to slather her in wet plaster. Yet another peeks behind some kind of boudoir screen and looks up at my ceiling flesh. She's moving her mouth, but no sound is coming out. Now all three of them are inside my bedroom body. One is undressed, tied to the bed, struggling against her restraints. The other, in those garters and a dress, taut and translucent as a cicada nymph's skin. And this last one is wearing a business suit. The one in the business suit starts making out with the one tied firmly to the bed, though she keeps pulling just out of range, her attention easily switching between playful teasing and intense concentration at the documents in a folder she has splayed across her lap. How to overthrow an empire already in collapse, it reads. She grabs her restrained self by the hair and forces her mouth open. In come all those sweet numbers and words from the spreadsheet, arcane mathematical formula pouring down her consensually non-consenting gullet. I am an ice cream cone dripping from the ceiling and walls, dairy, sugar, and salt, congealing into the approximate shape of a man. All of the women freeze and turn into Play-Doh. I press one of their perfectly formed bellies, and it indents and stays that way. The smell of salty Play-Doh overwhelms me, and I awake drenched in terror sweat to a surreal orange sky, ashes raining down, eyelashes to the red eye of the sun. The air is still as the day after the apocalypse.
you were. Never knew whose hands they served. Long she slumbered in her coffin, waiting. Obsidian shell, carapace of sand and tree, desert wanderers come to me. New Babylon. Her face, her glass-lidded eyes, her ivory teeth, the bazaar, her smile, the red sunset, her hair. Birth and death, she is branches in dream, roots in the underworld. Offer yourself to her, she takes you in. Offer yourself to her, cross the gate. You are faced with a choice as I approach the city. I feel her calm beneath it, embryo of stone. I am dreaming in the underworld. I am her. For 1,000 cycles she will gather her strength. Is it falling? Is it falling? Is it falling if you never hit the ground? Is it falling? Falling into nothing. At the end of time, at the end of the line, she will rise. She will rise, she will
You have been listening to the Fallen Cycle Mythos podcast. Keep subscribed to receive new episodes as they are released at fallencycle.com or on the podcasting service of your choice. Party at the World's End was written by James Curcio. Thanks to J.F. Stackhouse and Nate Samsel for collaborating on early drafts of this story. The soundtrack was produced by James Curcio, with special thanks to various creative collaborators for inspiration and soundtrack source from old sessions, including, in no particular order, Scott Landis, Sean Marsden, Jen E., Gaetan, Sarah and Rahul Iyer, Martine Della Ruffa, David Bessel, Ari, and Nate Samsel. Cut the Sky's Throat, an album selected from this feature's soundtrack, is free to stream and will be available on Bandcamp. Music by Lilith, Dionysus, Cody, Jesus, and Ariadne. A statement on the use of neural networks is available on our website for those curious about how we do, and don't, use these technologies. This podcast is Creative Commons 3.0, Attribution, share and share alike, non-commercial use.